In this video, we're going to show you how to install the perfect Tobermore patio, and we're going to take you through that process step by step. Before starting, it is important to check and be aware of the locations of any services such as oil, gas, water and electric. You will need the following tools, equipment and PPE. Shovel, string line, pins, screeding rails and bar, plate compactor with rubber protective mat, cement mixer, spirit level, soft brush, block splitter, mini digger, high-vis vest, safety boots, dust mask, gloves, ear protection, safety glasses. Some other materials you may need. In this situation, we're using an MOT Type 1 or what you would know as 40mm to dust or blinding. Sharp sand for the laying course, kiln dry sand for jointing, sand and cement for concreting the curbs. You may also require drainage channels and recessed manhole covers. All these materials can be purchased from your local builders merchants. The first step is the excavation process. To work out the depth that you need to dig out, certain things need to be considered. You will need to take into consideration the depth of the flag, the laying course which should be 30mm thick and the sub-base layer which should be 100mm thick. Now we're going to be installing the edge restraints. Edge restraints are so important for the structural integrity of your patio. Here we're going to be installing the Tobermore Kerb Small. When installing these edge restraints, it's so important to use a string line from A to B to ensure the correct height and the correct level. So we're going to be laying our curbs on a mortar bed. Our mortar bed will be 6:1 and that will comprise of 6 sharp and 1 cement. So when putting your curbs in, it's important that you work to this line using a bolt level to check the height of your curb. So important to check your levels both ways, this way and across that way. So we've installed the curb line, it's looking good, but we're not finished yet. What we need to do to strengthen that curb line up, we need to haunch the back of the curb line with some concrete. Now it is time to install the sub-base layer. The sub-base layer must be installed with a slight fall. The sub-base is extremely important as it gives the patio its structural integrity and prevents any sinkage. So we're doing the final preparation for this sub-base for this proposed patio area. Some people ask me, how do we achieve the falls with the patio? For this patio, we're using a 1 in 80 fall. So what we have is 3.8 meters from A to B. We divide the 80mm into the 3.8, giving us a 47.5mm drop from one end to the other end. This fall should be created in the sub-base, not the laying course. It's essential to have a fall on your patio. Sitting and standing water is simply not good. To create the fall in the sub-base, place a string line at the finished level at the highest point and run it to a wooden peg at the lower end. Use a string line spirit level to check its level. At the low end, measure down the string line 47.5mm. Place a wooden peg at this level. This now indicates where the sub-base material needs to be brought up to. You can do these in various locations to guide you. Pour in the Type 1 aggregate and distribute using a shovel. Measure the depth, making sure you have installed 100mm. Now compact the aggregate using a vibrating plate compactor. When compacting, you will need to do several passes with the plate compactor until a fully compacted subbase layer has been achieved. For a Tobermore patio or driveway installation, you need to use a sharp, gritty sand, and that sharp, gritty sand needs to be moist enough to form a ball. Spread out the sand with a spade or rake, then compact it with a single pass of the plate compactor. Now we come to the screeding of the sand. This should be done with screeding rails and a screeding bar. Set the screed rails into the sand laying course and use the screeding bar to drag off any excess sand. This creates one smooth and consistent 30mm sand laying course, which the flags can be laid on. The slab that we are laying, we will ensure that the slab is 3 to 5mm above the edge and restraint for final compaction. Now we have to remove the screed rails, and what happens when you remove the screed rails, you're actually left with a void. So we need to fill those voids in, like so, and float off as we come back. Well, I just want to show you how Tobermore manufacture their prime top products. If we look at this slab in end elevation, you can see 10mm of the slab has a concentration of granite in the top, which makes it hard and durable, but still aesthetically pleasing to the eye, with 40mm made up of concrete at the bottom. So here we are laying the Braemar Alto silver slab. It's a 50mm slab, it's a 600 by 400, and this is how we lay them. We take the slab towards the edge, making sure it's in line with the previous lay slab to the right hand side. Then we just flip the slab over, applying the pressure backwards onto the previous lay slabs and drop into position. So what we're looking for with this particular slab, we're looking for a 2 to 5mm joint, which will allow us to brush the jointing sand in between. In order to keep the dust down as much as possible, it's recommended to use a water suppressant feature like this with your disc cutter. So our cuts are complete, and we've done that using the disc cutter with the water suppressant, but there's still some dust residue left on the slabs. So we want to clean these cuts, get all the dust off completely before we put it in its final position. So this is our cut flag. We've cleaned it off and it's ready now for its final position. It's so important to clean the dust residue off your slab, just to avoid the staining. As you can see, the patio is now completed, and the only thing that's left to do is to brush in the joint in sand. Well, now we've finished laying the Braemar Alto silver slab patio, we are now going to joint it using the Granite silver sand, which will complement it better than normal jointing sand. When carrying out this process, it's essential that you wear the appropriate PPE. So now we've partially filled the joints with the sand, but we're going to finish it off using the plate compactor. But it's come to that time now when we have to compact this patio using that plate compactor. But it's so important and it's so essential to use this plate compactor using a rubber mat, because you can avoid any scrapes or scuffs to the top of your patio. Well, here we are, it's finished, it's completed. This patio's been laid with the Braemar Alto silver. It's been laid with sand, it's been jointed with sand, it's fast, it's affordable, and it's simple. These Sienna graphite set frames this patio absolutely perfectly. If you're looking for a modern contemporary look, there's no better choice than the Braemar Alto silver.